Hey everyone. I wanted to create this video to talk about authenticity. And I've actually done this presentation before, but I really want to refreshen it and speak it from a different place after probably 2, 3 years ago that I created this slide. And because there is a common theme that has been happening about self and authenticity. And I wanted to speak directly to that set of people. And I'm sure something that many of us can relate and struggle with. In years of trying to understand, of, taking multiple courses, taking multiple trainings, from going to therapy, nothing really solved what I was after. It helped me to understand myself in a deeper way that I would put my foot down and say absolutely yes. Besides that, nothing changed so much when my internal remained the same. So I decided to create this presentation, this short seminar on authenticity. And why is it so difficult to put our truth out there? When I say out there, I mean to be present in our relationships as we are. We don't need to change who we are to be loved or accepted. And it's a difficult thing to do. And I truly understand what that feels like. I truly know what it's like to present different phases of you and have to pick one aspect of you to live with and really forget about all the other parts of you that you haven't embraced and you haven't accepted yet. So, how to connect to your authentic self. This is a compassionate way to view yourself. And I put a quote from Brene Brown, the one and only. She speaks of authenticity in such a beautiful way, and I couldn't resist, so I had to put it there. She defines it as not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. And I think I don't need to explain that. It's just like profound. So, what is authenticity? It's that intuitive knowing and feeling without hiding behind a mask of who you are. And the truth is, authenticity is our inner guidance, right? The truth that we are afraid to see that comes up when no one's watching. So, what this means is you just are. You don't have that internal dialogue with yourself that I need to be a different person than I am now. And the second point is not so much about being nice, right, professional, looking put together or strong. I see a comment that we often mistake this with the egoic part, which is the identity we have created to protect ourselves and our inner child from the world. We learn this at a very young age. Mm, how in certain cultures we've been told to protect ourselves because the outside world is scary. It kind of is the same thing. Excuse me. Number three is expression plays a big role in who you are. For example, to what extent are you allowing yourself to feel, express, and release? What are the mind-made stories you have conditioned yourself to believe? These points are already from a my own perspective. I don't speak on behalf of anybody who defines authenticity differently. It's really about allowing yourself to feel into what it's like. What's the version of authenticity to you? What does it mean to you? And you can begin to define it. Maybe pause this video and start writing what it means to you, what words, maybe any feelings about authenticity, and just allow the exercise to guide you. Authenticity is when your inside matches your outside. You may or may not agree with this point. So, the meaning of this is when you're feeling, for example, an emotion, anxiety, right, or fear, it's you're going to embrace that. You're going to say that I truly acknowledge and I know that I'm feeling this and it's okay. It's a part of self-acceptance that whatever it is that you're feeling, it's true to you. So whatever happens externally wouldn't change that. When it's matching, when it's matching inside of you, you generally don't maybe feel like doing a lot of things, right? So if I'm feeling like sad, I'm not going to project and say or gaslight myself and thinking, no, I'm not, all is well, all is fine. So authenticity says, regardless of what is happening outside, regardless of what people think about me feeling this way, I choose to be honest about my internal feelings and my inner experience. So that connects back to you standing with yourself. You're not looking for external validation or someone to tell you that this is okay to feel. You just feel it, hence, you don't have to explain it. I hope that makes sense so far. How do I become an authentic person? This is the question that everyone is probably asking at this point. First is know your values. Values are very important, right? They set us apart from everyone and everything. If I can probably write something here. Oh, there we go. So, values can be who you are, what do you stand by? Maybe you value health. That's maybe your number one thing. I actually should have put that on the slide. But here we go. We figured it out. I don't know how to move this. You can see or you can tell how long I've been using Zoom for. So maybe you value health, right? Maybe you value relationships, right? Maybe you value wealth. Values can be anything that is important to you. So if I think looking after my body is important, I would put that as my value. Doesn't have to mean anything to anybody but you, right? So this is also in itself an authenticity exercise or reflection, you can say. Two is listening to your intuition, right? Oops. Listening to your intuition is a big part of knowing yourself, is a big part of having a good relationship with yourself. Are you deep enough? Are you present enough with yourself to listen? Do you pause during your days? Do you allow yourself to be silent? Do you spend time with yourself? It's a huge part. And don't mistake intuition with fear or reaction. Sometimes that can happen, most likely, that you would think it's your intuition. Oh, I feel like eating ice cream right now, and maybe it's your day to not eat ice cream. That's not intuition. That's a response from a feeling, right? You're responding from an external thing, from an external outlet that you don't want to do, right? So it's really guiding back to your values then, right? Because intuition then is linked to your values because values make you who you are. Number three, examining and letting go of old limiting beliefs. Part of being an authentic person is you have to dive deep into your beliefs, your belief system, because that shapes you and that shaped you to who you are in this present moment. So if you learned to live by society's rules and expectation, you're probably not living your authentic self. You're not, pardon me, you're not living an authentic life. You're not being truthful. You're not being honest with yourself. Part of it is integrity and truth. To know, to discover, to look for what it means to be true to myself right now in this moment. So, what are your beliefs? Maybe write down, I would start from 5 to 10 limiting beliefs you've been holding on to um that feel true, right? It feels true. It feels true to you at the moment when you read that belief. You're like, wow, I actually do believe it's true. But let me tell you that when you start doing the exercise and you start to challenge the belief, you'll get to see that it's not your truth. It was always coming from an external place. Family, friends, in society, in school. Things that have been said about you, let's say, or you made a belief about yourself because of a mistake you've made or something you've done in your past. I hope that makes sense so far. Number four is rewriting the stories you say about who you should be. This is huge. Rewriting your story, or part of rewriting my story, got me. Sorry. I don't know what's happening with my voice today. I guess my authenticity is coming out there, so it feels a bit vulnerable. So, rewriting your story, part of rewriting my story had or meant that I had to be willing to go deep. I had to be willing to ask questions. I had to be willing to challenge myself. And I needed to have an open mind of what I might see there, that I didn't need to change anything, just to observe. It was just a part of my observation, right? So rewriting your story comes after you set or list out your beliefs to ask if believing this is going to be of benefit to you in the long term. Is it benefiting your relationships? Is it benefiting your life choices, your career? Or is it holding you back? I'm sure you can find something there to dig deep into. And next one is healing your childhood wounds and letting go of people's expectations. I know this list feels heavy, but I want you to take it one step at a time. Healing, when you heal, and I'm not really quoting on fully healing because nobody can fully heal. To heal a childhood wounds and let go of people's expectations, it's a part of your truth. You get to see and understand here in this step why things happened the way it did and why you were the person that you are today. From what kind of belief system, what perhaps environments I grew up in that led me to become this person today. Next one is become curious and self-explore. This is huge also. I know I'm saying huge on everything, but all of them are so important. Stay curious and explore yourself. Don't be scared. And I wouldn't say fear won't come along the way. It's really scary to dig into your past, to ask. what things you believed blindly, and then to come up to a reality that they're not true. It hurts. So I get what you feel at this moment, and I get why it's hard. Stay curious. That's all you got to do. Be open. Expose yourself to activities and try out new things. Try things that you've never tried before and that really scares you. It's out of your comfort zone. Try a different flavor of ice cream. Try a different environment. Maybe you've been in nature. Try going out in, I don't know, like social places. Get to know people. Um, of course, it has to be aligned. So if you really don't like crowds, maybe that social situations wouldn't be great. Maybe meeting 3 to 5 people, a group you can join, activity you can hobby you can nurture, and just it's basically like dating yourself. That's all I have to say. And this links back to meeting people and build connections. It's tied to this point. Admit your faults and reflect on them. It's okay to say that I messed up, right? Or it's okay to say for you that you messed up here and there's no going back. Reflect on them. What did you learn? This step here is about growing from your challenges and the lessons you needed to learn. If you didn't go through the faults and mistakes and the challenges, you wouldn't see the lessons that come with it. And don't be scared to mess it up. That's how you really grow, is by learning. Just like a kid, I'm going to use a cliche example here, but it hits every time. Just like a kid learning how to ride bike, the child is going to fall every time until they pick themselves up, until they learn to pedal their foot, place their feet in a certain position, learn how to balance. I didn't know how to ride a bike. I am not so good at it still yet, but I needed to fall, mess up, and then learn again. Examples of how authenticity looks like, and I can't quite see how to remove this. Clear all drawings. Here we go. How does it look like? You may be wondering now, okay, well, I feel like I am authentic, I'm not authentic. Maybe you're in and out, maybe you're not sure. This will help clarify that for you. Sharing your feelings with someone close to you, not feeling guilty or shame. Speaking to yourself with the truth of a situation rather than gaslighting. So it's just becoming vulnerable and speaking your reality. You're not afraid to put your failures out and you learn from them. You feel comfortable in your own skin, not hiding any aspect of you. You speak your truth and communicate yourself clearly in relationships, at work. You have good set of boundaries and you're not afraid to speak up. Other people's judgments become secondary. They're just like static noise. That your needs would matter in that moment. Every time. No self-sacrificing. You're genuine about who you are. The last one is you don't apologize for how you feel. You know how um, sometimes we go out there in the world and we apologize for certain things. Oh, like you cried about something and you're like, I'm sorry for being sensitive. And you over explain. You try to find the reasons to make the other person feel good about why you're feeling this way, just so they don't feel uncomfortable with your vulnerability. Authenticity doesn't look like that. Authenticity is not apologizing, unapologetically you. And I say this with big proud moment because I know how it feels like to stand in your truth, to be confident and comfortable in your own skin. And a part of all this, everything that I'm talking about now, it speaks of safety. When I am feeling safe within myself, my heart, my body, everything that I am, it's easy. It becomes lighter. I'm not saying you won't be rejected. You will many times, but you are true to yourself, and that's all that matters. And it is a lonely journey. It is. It's not as easy. People will walk away, but trust me, the people who align with that authenticity will find you. And it's magnetic. Cannot tell you how it feels, but it's just so liberating. Okay, let's move on. Gonna have a sip of tea. Why is it hard? That's the million-dollar question, like I say. Well, if it's this easy, or if it requires me to be myself, why is being yourself hard? Like I said previously, you're gonna be rejected. That's big risk. And there's gonna be traumatic experiences. Things from the past start to come up. Fear of being disliked for who you are. Fear of not being accepted, that others don't like that part of you. The one you're afraid to show to the world, or the ones even close to you. You have to be vulnerable, and that's scary. You'd rather be liked than be real. Unfortunately, that's the reality of most people, and I've been there. You're too scared to discover who lies beneath the facade, meaning the mask that we wear. You have shame around expressing and letting yourself be seen. If you're carrying that shame everywhere in your body, in your life, it's hard to let yourself be seen and heard and understood and ask for your needs in relationships. So it is a difficult thing. But let me remind you again that authenticity meets authentic people, meets authenticity. It's not the opposite. So whenever you are, for example, true to yourself, you know your values, you know who you are, you will likely attract authentic people. Also, you can attract inauthentic people, but that you would know because you would feel it. Your energy will tell. You feel closed, uncomfortable, slightly a feeling of unease, whether it's through your breath, maybe not in your stomach. You'd feel something is off about that person. And you would see it in their way of talking, their body language, maybe they're facing their backs on you. Um, they start to, when they speak, it doesn't feel natural. You feel there's a lot of composure, a lot of acting, a lot of basically putting an act out there, a lot of performance. When you're authentic, there's less of the performance, more of being. Your being, your essence, personality starts to, it really does come down to or come out and in your aura. That's when you sense it, you feel at ease, you feel peace. That's the feeling you have to follow, not the anxious, not the doubt, not the fear. And then it comes down to when do you know you're being inauthentic? How you would wonder now, right? After this whole thing, that how would I know? What are some signs? Well, the first thing is that when you're sacrificing parts of you for other people to like you and accept you and to quote unquote fit in, that's when you're being unauthentic. Number two is that there's a strong gut feeling that something is wrong. Something doesn't sit right. Your nervous system feels this anxious unease most of the time. Your muscles are tight and you start feeling closing off in your heart. Then comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself when you are inauthentic is because you are looking for the idea of perfection. And then perfection speaks that of insecurity, that you want to control situations. You want to control the outcome. You want to control how people view you. So you'd rather just have a perfect image. And then when you feel bad about yourself, you start comparing yourself to others. When you are in authenticity and you love yourself wholly, there's no space to compare. Everyone is just is. You can learn and you can slightly envy in a good way, but you wouldn't compare because you know your value. Next one is you don't speak for what you want. You don't take yourself seriously. You don't feel confident being received, loved, seen, and heard. So you'd rather just shrink yourself and follow people pleasing. And this is a strong reflection too that does what you say or do make you feel weak or strong? I want to make a minor change to that a bit or tweak it a bit. Does what you say or do align with your values? And does it make you feel inner strength, courage? Or does it make you feel weaker and that you're shrinking like a ball? That's what I meant by weak and strong. I didn't mean that weak as in like physically weak or weak as in not making smart choices because decisions come with experience. So are you in strength, inner strength and empowerment? Or are you maybe in hopelessness and not really integrating listening to yourself and your experiences in life? Does it elevate you or shrink you? The closest I can really put it. Do you say yes to things? Do you say yes to things, sorry, to mean no to? You mean no to. I think I meant to put you instead of to, so apologies for the grammatical error. Don't know why I did a British accent. I just tend to love a British accent, so why not? So, what do you often say? Do you often say yes to opportunities? Do you people please say yes to things just to sway the way or sway the conversation and take yourself out of who you are so you are accepted? When you want to be accepted in an environment, you try so hard to not be yourself. That's just the truth. When you're trying so hard to be liked, to say things when just fill in the gaps, fill in the silence, where's your truth there? And I'm laughing about this because it's a funny experience, to be honest, that I'm just saying and blabbering and doing anything that is just out of the blue that my personality or it doesn't align with my values. And to then just be like, okay, maybe this person will resonate if I said that, or I can make this person laugh by saying this. And it's really externally projected and externally, um, it's externally crafted, right? So we want to really feel into what we're saying and doing, and that happens when we're connected, internal connected to our body, our emotions, inner expression. Yes. When you're not having genuine conversations, so that means you're just having small talk. And there are some people you just have small talk with. It's just how it is, like your coworkers or strangers you just met. That's natural, right? But when you're not genuine about who you are and yourself and you're not honest about anything that you share because you're scared to say that you love to do certain things when people find it pretty, whatever, cringy or creepy, you hide that. I'd say that you're into trying to think of a example that is common or that is a bit strange. Okay, so I'll use an example from my own life. I used to, not used to, I still love reading books and sometimes just in my own room and I just like my own space. I used to think that that's so weird. And I used to think like, who the heck is reading on a Sunday or Saturday when everybody is out there partying? That there is me comparing myself to fit an image of society that I needed to do something other than what feels aligned in the moment. That's inauthentic. If you're trying to change your internal expression, desires in the moment based of what other people deem as acceptable in a particular situation, then you are altering, changing yourself just to fit in, right? So that's not genuine, right? And it's not aligned. Again, you have a tendency to agree with what other people say or think about you. Um, that you change depending on the person, the scenario, the situation, that your opinions don't matter, that if you have an opinion, you would shut it down because you think it's not valuable, and that speaking your truth is scary and unacceptable and weird and fill in the gap. You view vulnerability as weakness. Now, a very huge part of authenticity is vulnerability. If you're vulnerable first with yourself, right? I say first yourself because we're not trying to prove to somebody that we are vulnerable or that we're honest. Is am I first honest with myself about anything right now in life? The things I say, the things I share, things I believe in, am I first honest about it within here? Let's check in. It's self check in first, right? Then I can ask the secondary question. Okay, am I vulnerable in my relationships? If not, what can I do there? How can I learn to express myself in a safe way? Maybe I can start sharing things like, I felt this way when you said this. And don't try to think of it of what they're gonna say because it's our minds are quick to go back to survival. What is this person going to think? What are they gonna do when I'm gonna be vulnerable, gonna share something really personal? And I'm scared if they're gonna backfire or scared that they're gonna react or do something with anything that I shared. So how can I be more vulnerable? How can I practice transparency with my close ones, my close relationships? Just being genuine about what your struggles are, what you're going through, who you are as a person. Last one is you constantly apologize for who you are. So anything you do, you're over explaining. You apologize for going to this party when someone just called you to come chill at home or whatever it may be. That's aligning, right? Not apologizing for who you are, right? We're not trying to be there and be the person for every single person to hang out with. Key points I want you to reflect on. Where are you an authentic showing up in your relationships, work, or career? Is there anything you're doing about it and resolving it, or to resolve it? Oh boy, I think I need to change a lot of spellings and grammatical errors here. Are you trying to portray an image of who you think you must be? So write it down, pull up your journal, notebook, notepad, anything, and just begin to journal. Don't judge. Don't try to get it perfect the first time. It's just about data, right? So think of it as yourself self-observing. Growing up, how was being yourself perceived? Were you shut down? Silent treatment? Did you learn that managing other people's emotion is more important than your own well-being? Is there a split between parts of you? Are there parts of you that you dismiss or others? And others you embrace. So whether that be I don't embrace my happy, joyous, fun, silly part, while I try to embrace the one that is like more ethical, productive, career focused, mm, maybe showing love, intimacy in such a beautiful way that maybe you learn to suppress that. So just notice where you're putting a middle line and separating parts of yourself because they're still you anyways. Is there something you like, but you've suppressed it inside of you? So that can be also a part in you, an aspect, a personality, a trait. Are you including the positive and negative aspects of yourself, or are you just taking the positives? Or you may be someone just taking on the negative aspects and criticizing yourself, which really comes from lack of self-trust and insecurity and low self-esteem. So really pay attention to that. Are you being true about how you felt and what you communicated? Is there truth about you or just an image of perfection or the version of you that pleases all the time? Play small. So, just some important reminders before we wrap up. We have, I think, one slide, or this might maybe the last. Every time that someone tells you to be someone or something you're not, you have the choice to agree or disagree. And that's not on anybody to decide that for yourself. Because you got you, right? You're watching this through your own eyes, you're listening through your own ears, your energy's here, watching, receiving, noting down. That's your observation, right? That's you receiving this, being here. So nobody has control over that because that gives your power away to someone else. The truth is, you can get anyone to like you as much as it's hurtful, right? It's really hurtful truth. You have to learn to free yourself from it, right? People will have their opinions, multiple opinions out there, regardless of what you do. So you might as well just do whatever you want. Now, I'm not saying, no, some people might take this to the extreme, and I'm going to correct you here before it goes crazy. I'm not saying if you feel like killing somebody or dying, you should go and shoot that person. By all means, I don't want you to do that. What I do, what I am saying here, I think I should reword it in a different way. They will say anything about you. They will have their judgments, ideas, personalities about you, image of how they want you to be and who they want you to be. So, regardless of that, it's saying, I don't care what's happening on the external. I'm not going to pay attention to it. My energy is towards my growth and healing and my truth. That's enough. You see yourself more valuable when you put yourself first. They're going to speak anyway, so why would you change for other people when inside of you is screaming to be heard, to be authentic, to attract authentic people in your life, people who care, support, and love you for who you truly are, beyond the success, beyond the money, beyond the validation, beyond what you wear, but just you and your essence. So it's really giving yourself permission to be free. Last one is just a quote by this amazing human, Eckhart. He says, "Only the truth of who you are, if realized, will set you free." That's just how I would want to end this because it's so true and accurate. That's the only thing. That's your road. The only thing that will set you free is to listen and be your own truth. Nothing else will set you free. Not the amount of people, not the amount of success and money, followers, knowledge, experiences. So let your experience be truthful to you, but no one else. It will truly set you free. And from my experience, it led to a lot of isolation too, but it really was rewarding. It gave me back more than what I was living with, knowing that back then it served me, but in the moment I saw it as a pattern. It was just a version of me that it was just people that was feeding off from the version of me that I thought is acceptable. So it wasn't authentic, anyways. I didn't lose much by that. I didn't lose a lot by people walking away. I will lose so much if I walked away from who I am. You will lose a lot if you walked away from who you are. Betrayal, right? I hope this was helpful. I thought you got value out of this, supporting you in your journey right now, because I know navigating your truth and authenticity in this world is can be tough. And my goal is to um, eliminate the loneliness and just help you be, supportive in a community that can hold you in who you are and embrace the truth of yourself and no more betrayals and pleasing. So this was just a Q&A that I did when I was doing this live, but feel free to just pop them in the chat. I would love to answer any questions, or you can just send me an email, um, and I can answer you back when I can. And just put a little picture here that sums up everything. Really anything. But I do ask for you to be obviously respective of the context of your question. And yes, so that is it for this seminar. I'd love to hear your feedback, anything you want to share. If you don't want to publicly share it, as I said, send me just an email and we can have a chat. But other than that, thanks for your time and energy and for being here. I am truly proud that you're taking the step towards your own authenticity and trust that life will get better the closer you are to yourself.